What is up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast, and I am your host, the Italian God, the Ace, and you're checking out our WWE Monday Night Raw, June 20th, 2022 episode recap and review. And they are live in Nebraska for Raw this week. We start out with an honor of Tim White, who was a famous referee who passed away. Tim White is known for his legendary status in WWE. He was Andre the Giant's manager and would handle him around outside the ring. They'd hang out, they were best friends. He's known for his many promos in WWE, and he has been the focal point in many of our favorite matches. So rest in peace, Tim White. We then go to the ring with the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair. She comes down, and Bianca says, being that I am the EST of WWE, you best believe I was looking forward to defending my title at Money in the Bank. Rhea will not be medically cleared in time to compete, but you best believe when Rhea does return, I will be ready. So then Bianca says that tonight we have Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Asuka, and Becky Lynch in a 5-way match. Becky comes out and Becky says, there's only one contender and you know it's me. I still haven't gotten my one-on-one rematch at Hell in a Cell. I had Asuka beat, but you stole it from me. I've had to overcome obstacles. When I win the 5-way, it will be me taking my title back. Sweeter. And Asuka comes out and Asuka basically says, Becky, are you crying? Liv comes out and says, Becky, I'm always ready for a fight. And in fact, I've already earned an opportunity at Money in the Bank, but I would trade that for the title match. Carmella comes out and Carmella says, something doesn't add up. Liv says, why are you out here? You're not a former champion. Carmella says, Liv, why are you out here? You're not a former champion. Then all the women come out and just start trashing each other. And then the match starts. And we again get information that John Cena returns this Monday night on Raw next week. We're excited for that. Becky Lynch and Asuka attack each other. Start. Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss take out Carmella. Morgan nails a spin around to the mat. Bliss then rolls up, but they both roll around the mat on each other. They basically just roll around with pinfall. This cool. Then Bliss and Morgan both punch each other, and Carmella pins both of them, but they both kick out. Asuka with a spin fist to Carmella, and Becky kicks Asuka to the outside. Becky kicks Bliss. However, Becky misses a flying leg drop, and then Bliss nails a Hurricane Rana to Becky, and Carmella slams Bliss's face to the mat. Liv Morgan with boots to Carmella's back, and she slams her head into the post. Carmella pushes Liv Morgan off the top rope onto the women outside of the ring. Explorer to Alexa Bliss, but Liv Morgan with a knee in the corner and a missile dropkick to Becky. Becky then sends Liv into the post, and Liv gets a foot on the rope. Carmella with a Hurricane Rana off the top rope to Becky onto Liv Morgan, and she gets a 2 count. Carmella then nails a kick to Asuka's face and gets a 2. Asuka applies the Asuka lock on Carmella, and a Bliss nails double knees. Then Morgan nails a flying dropkick to Asuka. Becky nails a manhandle slam to Asuka. Bliss nails a twisted Bliss. Carmella and Liv Morgan then break up the pinfall. Asuka then kicks Alexa Bliss. Liv Morgan with double knees to Becky Lynch. Becky nails a manhandle slam, but Asuka pulls Becky out and kicks her. Alexa Bliss then nails a twisted Bliss, but Liv Morgan gets her knees up, and Carmella hits a super kick to Liv Morgan and gets a 3 count. So now Carmella is now going to take on Bianca Belair this Sunday at Money in the Bank live on pay-per-view for the WWE Raw Women's title. I'm not really happy about that. I don't hate on Carmella, but I don't think she's the one that deserves a title. I know that Money in the Bank is kind of a throwaway pay-per-view, but I would have rather have seen like a Liv Morgan or even an Alexa Bliss would have been great, but I digress. Becky is backstage around Pierce, and Becky says, I just got robbed again. I'm on the poster of Money in the Bank. I should be on the card. And Pierce says, if you beat Asuka tonight, you will get a chance to be involved in the Money in the Bank women's ladder match. And Becky is mad that she has to compete tonight. McMahon walks out and then says, tonight marks the 1,517th edition of Raw. For that, I say thank you. Raw's been on the air for 30 years. And 20 of those years were dominated by the man who returns next week, John Cena. And then Vince walks off. Again, Vince has been doing this weird coming out thing since this whole situation with him paying off somebody has been, the focal point of everyone's WWE topic, but it's weird that Vince keeps showing up. Then Riddle comes out and Riddle says 1 month ago, Randy may have had his career ended by Roman Reigns in the bloodline. I made a promise I would get vengeance. I was this close. I nailed Roman with a sick RKO, but Roman hit me with a spear that almost broke me in half. I let my best friend Randy down. And Riddle then says, you're going to have to kill me to stop me. I can win Money in the Bank and come after you. If I win and cash in on Roman Reigns, I can end his reign of terror. And then Riddle claims he wants to hit Seth Rollins with a ladder. So that was interesting to hear that. And then we have our first, again, the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Riddle taking on Omos with MVP. MVP says, Riddle, you're not going to make it to Money in the Bank. You will get hired tonight when Omos drops you hard down to the mat. Omos nails a sidewalk slam. Omos tosses Riddle into the post, and Rollins, we see him watching backstage. Omos with a bear hug, and he nails a shot to the back of Riddle. Riddle nails a floating Broton to Omos, but Omos nails a double arm slam and gets a 3 count. So now Omos is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. After the match, Omos drops Riddle with another double arm choke slam. Seth Rollins runs out to the ring, and Rollins takes a shot to Riddle and he tosses him outside. Rollins laughs and he says, I'm sorry, I don't share airspace with losers. Riddle, you are the ultimate loser. First, you lose your buddy Randy Orton. Then you lose a title match, and now your opportunity at Money in the Bank. I shouldn't be too hard on you. No one will be able to defeat Roman Reigns. Only one man has Roman Reigns' number, and you're looking at him. Roman Reigns has been ducking me since the Royal Rumble. I'm going to collect the Money in the Bank contract, and Reigns can run and hide, but I'll find you. Riddle then attacks Rollins, but Rollins takes out Riddle with a stomp. So it looks as if we're going to see Rollins and Riddle down the line, which is something I'm here for. We then see Theory on the podium. He's showing off his muscles, and he says he's better than Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is behind Theory, and Theory goes to take a selfie. He sees Lashley, and Lashley throws H2 water on Theory and lays him out with a spear. Lashley says, I'm not done with you. I'm coming. The US title is coming home with me. So Lashley is ready for Theory's title. We then have the WWE Raw, the undisputed tag team champion Jey Uso with his brother Jimmy taking on Angelo Dawkins with Montez Ford. They pretty much trash talk the Usos. The Usos trash talk the Profits and everybody in the backstage, and the Profits trash talk the Usos. Dawkins nails a spinning splash in the corner. Jay dives onto Dawkins outside and nails and basically clotheslines Angelo Dawkins over the railing. Dawkins nails a suplex and gets a 2 count. Uso hits a neck breaker and gets a 2. Dawkins nails a silencer and gets a 2 count. And then Jay nails a super kick. He goes for a flying splash, but Dawkins lands a sky high, catching Jay and gets a 3 count. Angelo Dawkins gets the win. We then see Elias and Ezekiel sitting on a couch together, and the two of them perform, together on a Titantron. Elias is then in the ring in a concert. He performs for Ezekiel. Kevin Owens comes out and Kevin says, we don't have time for this crap. You are a liar. You are a disgusting liar with no credibility. I'm as smart as it gets. You and Zeke are the same person. Ezekiel shows up on the Titantron, and he says, you need to accept this and move on. Elias then sings a song to Kevin Owens. Kevin tosses the guitar down. Elias with a knee to KO's face and guitar to the back of Kevin Owens. Kevin then runs back into Ezekiel backstage and KO snaps. So very interesting situation here. Now the number 1 contender gauntlet match, Bobby Lashley taking on Chad Gable to start. Stalemate to start. Lashley with a shoulder tackle. He punches Chad Gable off the apron into the announce table. Lashley then sends Gable into the railing, and Lashley runs Gable's head first into the post. Bobby Lashley with a long delayed suplex, and Gable counters and applies an ankle lock. Gable nails a moonsault and gets a 2 count. Bobby is able to apply the hurt lock, and Gable taps out. Otis attacks Lashley and kicks Bobby Lashley outside the ring. He sends Lashley's arm to the post. Lashley gets the win after beating Otis, and then Theory comes out and he ends up rolling Theory. So Bobby Lashley is the #1 contender for the U.S. title. We see Carmella attacking Bianca Belair backstage. We then move on to Miz TV with AJ Styles. Misses. The reason I invited you to Miz TV was so the young people could get a preview of what it's like to be a failure. AJ Styles is on Miz TV with Miz, and he says, "You must feel like a failure knowing your wife married someone with popcorn-sized balls." Miz says, "I do not have tiny balls. I got gigantic balls." He lists all of his accomplishments, and he says, "I am success. What does it feel like to be a huge disappointment?" AJ says, "I'm not playing your game. How do you think I became phenomenal? When I get disrespected, I don't run my mouth like you do." AJ then hits the Miz in the face with a mic, and Tommaso Ciampa comes out and attacks AJ Styles. And now we move on to Tommaso Ciampa versus Styles. Ciampa with the knee to AJ off the apron. Ciampa nails a neck breaker and gets a 2. AJ with a running arm to the face. AJ hits a modified backbreaker and gets a 2 count. And then Ciampa punches AJ, but AJ nails a phenomenal forearm and gets a 3. And AJ Styles is your winner. After the Miz tries to attack AJ, but gets hit with a Pele kick and a Styles clash. The Miz is laid out. We now have our main event, the Money in the Bank qualifying match. Asuka taking on Becky Lynch. Becky attacks Asuka on the ramp. Asuka applies an armbar, and Becky nails a baseball slide to the outside. Asuka kicks Becky, and Asuka nails a running hip attack, sending Becky off the apron. Asuka hits a code breaker, gets a 2 count. Becky pushes Asuka off the top rope to the outside. Asuka hits a running kick, and both women punch one another in the ring. Asuka with 2 back fists, a German, and a hip attack, and gets a 2 count. Becky applies an Asuka lock, and Asuka applies an ankle lock. Becky then sends Asuka's face into the post and gets a 2 count. Asuka applies the Asuka lock through the ropes and gets a missile dropkick and gets a 2 count. Becky nails a leg drop to Asuka on the apron. Asuka with a knee to Becky's face on the outside. Both of the women roll into the ring, and Asuka kicks Becky Lynch hard in the head and gets a 3 count. And Asuka is moving on to Money in the Bank. Becky is seen looking upset. This was a great episode of Raw. Lots have happened, a lot of great moments. Tonight, there's a new episode of Raw coming out, so definitely check that out. We'll be back next week with our new Raw recap. SummerSlam is just around the corner. We'll be having our SummerSlam predictions video out soon. Or I'm sorry, Money in the Bank predictions video out soon. Thank you for checking us out. Stay safe. Peace in the streets.